There we go. All right. It wasn't letting me add myself to the stream. It was letting me add VK. So you kind of got a sneak peek at who's going to be joining us. We actually have a few guys who are going to be jumping on this. So we're going to be talking all about the amazing developments that we've been getting and also some fun little things that we've been doing over the course of the past few months. And by we, I mean Marvel. So the Marvel fans have been really lucky to see Donny Cates kind of take on this Venom universe over the past few years. Since about 2018, I think, was when the first comic book dropped. And it all kind of culminated into this King in Black issue number 5. And there's some big things that happened here. But before we do anything, we got to hit that intro.
The Avengers. That's what we call ourselves. Earth's mightiest heroes. I have an army. We have a Hulk.
I want to Nemo dance.
So we've got VK here. And if you don't know him, go check him out on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. And is that Twitch too?
Yeah, I stream on Twitch when so let me know. We'll talk later. I can stream this on my YouTube if you want.
Oh, awesome. That's perfect.
Yeah.
So this is really fun. It's awesome to see you guys. What up, fellow nerds? Great for comics. Off-World Adam, greetings. And Dan Eckery, how's it going, buddy? So this has all been building up for 3 years now. King in Black. It's been interesting to say the least. This character Null has just blown us out of the water, and then it seems like it kind of fizzled out in issue 5.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on it?
I think it was a little bit of. I think Donny Cates drawn it out a little bit too much on who was Null, what's going on with Dylan, what's going on with Brock, what's going on Dylan's mom. You know, how is Dylan going to react becoming to such a big force? You know, in that Venom universe, and I think it was drawn out a little bit too much, and people just started looking at other titles and looking at other runs. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
I think with this issue 35 coming up in January, February, March, April, May 5th, I think is the release.
I think so. May 5th or 12th.
Yeah,
somewhere around there.
May 5th. I think that's gonna like wrap things up, tie a bow on it, and get people back on board and really jazzed about it. I know I am.
And I mean, I was kind of shocked. So we're doing total spoilers. We're not holding anything back right now. If you have not read King in Black 5, Venom 34, or even Planet of the Symbiotes 3, you might want to tune out now, go read those, and come back and join us live again. Because, I mean, I was shocked, but at the same time, there were bits and pieces that I kind of saw and was like, you know what? This makes sense. This makes sense. And one of the biggest ones that kind of made sense to me was after everything happened with Eddie and all the stuff that he's gone through, the fact that he was worthy of Mjolnir was just phenomenal. I thought that was really cool. It was kind of like that icing on the cake moment of you truly made it back and you're now a hero. You're not just this villain anymore.
Yeah. And also too, he kept like portraying himself, or Cates kept portraying himself as, you know, as this almost like emo character that kept, you know, feeling sorry for himself and like, you know, not sure if he could do anything or not sure if he could do it right or da-da-da. And it's like, nah, man, you're Venom. You are the top dog, man. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Show what you're made of. And it's happening and it's going to happen.
Definitely. It's so amazing to see where Cates took the character because, I mean, this is what we're going to be getting very, very soon. Heavy is the head.
Look at
and it's going to be crazy to see how Venom, not even Eddie, but just Venom itself takes up the role of the King in Black. And does this mean that he's now God of the symbiotes? Does this mean that Null is truly and physically gone, or is, because we know there was a hive, is there some way that he can come back? Kind of like the same way Ultron could come back in a way. I mean, they're very similar characters, just one's tech-based and one's organic.
And as you know, Ultron's always there. because he is data. He is the internet. He is, alive, however you want to call it, in tech, in data, in internet. You know what I mean? He's alive.
Definitely.
So Null's out there. He's definitely out there, and they're not going to scrap him. And they're not going to put him on the sidelines for long. I'm just curious. I'm just curious now how Dylan falls in all this.
For sure. And I saw a lot of people who were kind of upset that Dylan didn't have a bigger role at the end. And I thought that we might get a Dylan Eddie team up and him kind of get his own symbiote maybe, or even take up the mantle of Venom by the end of this. That's kind of where my mind was at the beginning of everything. But at the same time, I said this to someone I was talking to recently. I think that Dylan's just too immature at this time. He's not really sure of himself. He's kind of not full of himself, but just like he doesn't really understand with great power. Yeah.
Great responsibility.
Exactly.
But in the earlier episodes and the earlier issues, Eddie was a little bit like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Second guessing himself, and it's like, come on, dude.
Yeah, like you're Venom. How do you second guess yourself? Like you are this amazing character, and I mean, Eddie in the course of this Kate storyline has gone through hell and back. He's dealt with pretty much everything he could possibly deal with. And on top of that, he then had to kind of deal with his son, dealing with that darkness inside of him and pulling it out of him. And it's like, okay, so the darkness that he pulled out of Eddie, and this goes back to what the cover collector says, doesn't Null exist as long as darkness exists somewhere? Where did that darkness go when Eddie just kind of crushed it? I mean, I feel like Null's got to be somewhere in the universe. I don't think that they would just write him off as this one-off.
That's the key thing. Somewhere in this universe.
Yeah.
So whatever Venomverse Cates is building, he'll make some type of alternate universe or alternate timeline or alternate something to stick Null in, and then be able to pick him out and come on out anytime he wants.
Welcome, Remy.
How you doing? Sorry I'm late, y'all.
All good. Dan Eckery says, my theory, Venom kills all symbiotes, including himself. Eddie may survive, but he'll be a changed person for it. That would definitely be very interesting, to say the least. I mean, to kill off all of these symbiotes and just basically say, no more, we're done. That's it. I don't see that happening. I think symbiotes are too big. Go ahead.
How would that benefit him, though, to kill all the symbiotes?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if he kills off all the symbiotes and Null's still out there somewhere, who's going to take over?
Exactly.
I was a little upset that they kind of related Captain Universe to a symbiote. I don't think they were truly saying he was a symbiote. But at the same time, it some people were kind of turned off by that fact.
I liked it.
I thought it was kind of cool.
Yeah, they actually took somewhere. It's like I said, they took somebody out of the Venomverse, brought him in, and I think it adds a little bit.
Definitely. It allows for something more than just Venom to be part of this.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Comics by the Cover and Professor Comics. Professor Comics says he loved King of Black and Venom this week. And I mean, so I picked up this cover of Venom too. I thought oops, sorry for the glare. I thought it was just a really cool cover.
Anytime he's got those wings on, it's bad.
Oh, definitely. And then, I mean, is this Eddie walking to Venom? Is this him kind of accepting himself as Venom, or is he walking into the darkness? Is he there's so many ways to kind of take this cover. I mean, there's so much going on with Venom right now that it's interesting how they're going to play this off.
I want to see how it culminates. I really am going to read 35. I'm like, really 2 months away.
Well, I actually got a variant cover of 35 from the Comic Mint. I bought one of those 5 bundles, so that way myself and a couple buddies of mine could all go in on it and save some money. and we also purchased like other comics and whatnot to save on the shipping. And my one buddy keeps asking me, he's like, when are those comics coming? I'm like, well, we got to wait for Venom 200. I mean, it was originally before COVID supposed to come out like March, I think was the original game plan. But because COVID pushed it back so far, we're now waiting until May. And it is what it is.
You got to play catch up on everything.
Exactly.
They're pre-selling already on eBay, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For hundreds.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's kind of
$650.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of my other thing. How is this going to affect all the Venom spec? Since Null is gone, do you think Venom 3 is going to go down the drain, or do you think it's going to go up? What do you think?
I think there's going to be a dip until the movie comes, and once the movie comes,
Okay.
I think that everybody's waiting for the movie. That's definitely pending for any of that. So yeah, it's
it seems like if it's a good movie or a good stream, pshoo.
Yeah.
If it's not, look at Hellstrom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was a bad stream, and so none of the comics popped.
Definitely.
So,
And
the movie's gonna do well. The movie's gonna perform, I think.
oh yeah, and a lot of people
really
didn't
all
like.
you need to do is just get that trailer out there, and then it's like that's gonna kick it up right there. It's like just to get that excitement route up.
That post-credit scene had me excited. I mean,
Oh yeah, Professor Comics has a good point. Like a Black Winter, you can almost give an analogy of Black Winter. Black Winter took a little dip. You know what I mean? So I think Venom 3 will take a little dip.
for sure. I'm hoping it takes a dip so I can pick up my Venom 3 for once and not have to pay hundreds.
I know. I'm waiting for that film to come out to sell my Venoms. I got like four graded boxes of 9/8 of Venoms, just sitting there.
My hope is that Donny Cates will just come and kill off Miles Morales, and that book will go down to like $1. I'll be like, whoops, bring him back, and it's back to 4,000.
We could only hope.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting question too. It's like who picks it up from there, and what do they do with it?
Oh, for sure, because Donnie and Stegman are done. They're not doing anything else after this, from what I understand.
Aren't they? I thought Cates was jumping on Spawn.
I think he is.
Oh, okay. So that's why.
But just Venom in general. It's like, where does Venom go from here? Like, who's gonna have to pick that up? It's like, man, you got some big shoes to fill at this point.
Yeah, you're right. Who's gonna do it after Cates? You're right. Wow.
I kind of hope that Cates actually jumps on Amazing Spider-Man after this and brings Venom back into the Spider-Verse and does something there. I think that would be a really cool way to kind of tie those characters back in together after all these years of Venom being this hero instead of a anti-hero villain. I think that'd be so sweet.
Yeah, I would like. I like him better as an anti-hero.
I don't know. Have you guys heard about Professor Comics' dollar bin grab?
No. Should I?
Not 9.8 was it, Professor? He found it it was half off it was $4. So half off $4, and then he sent it off, got it signed by Stegman, I think it was. And I mean, it's Venom 3, it's well up there. So I was like, dude, I need to go wherever you're going for comics, because clearly they don't know how to sell comics.
I know some of these hunters, man. I don't know how they do it. They must have those like pharmaceutical doctor brains where they just remember like issue numbers and covers, and variants and all that. Because I sit there and I'm like, I don't remember.
I've found a couple, but that I don't remember has hit me so many times. And it's even worse because like sometimes I'll go through and I'll pull something. I'm like, oh yeah, never mind. I
get home and I'm like, oh no, that's the variant is the expensive one.
Yeah, it's like you almost have to get in that right mindset because you always go out and you're like, oh, today's the day I'm gonna find that one book, and it's like, I don't know. It's just luck of the draw, really.
See, and when King in Black 1 came out, no one really knew that there was that secret variant. with Hulk on it instead of the Thing, or vice versa.
I remember something like that.
Yeah, so I went there, and of course, as soon as I heard about it, I went back to my comic shop, and he had already found the 4 that he got and had marked them with like $50 tags. I'm like, shit, these were sitting on the shelves, and I could have gotten them for cover price and didn't.
We've all been there. Shit, I could have got that for cover price.
I kind of see them doing a movie arc with Null like they did with Thanos. So Null is actually, he has to be in the MCU if Gore the God Butcher's in the MCU, because Gore has Null's sword. So if that Necro Black Sword is in the MCU at all, when we see Thor Love and Thunder, we'll eventually see Null in the MCU. Hopefully. I hope and pray that they act on that, because, I mean, that would just be phenomenal. He would be such a great villain. I don't know who I would want to see play him, but I mean, that would just be an amazing tie-in. To
Harry.
Yeah. Who?
Jim Carrey for Null.
Yes, that would be kind of cool.
I think he can pull it off.
Oh yeah,
especially the way he looks lately. Like, ooh.
Is he gonna live long enough?
Looking rough these days.
We need less makeup. Take that makeup.
with that whole Null connection to Gore the God Butcher, that's a whole nother stream rabbit hole we could go down.
Oh yeah. The other thing I hate when I go to and I see all these variants, I'm like, okay, so I love that variant, but will it be worth anything if I pick that one up? Because I don't want to buy 5 different variants, and then I'm sitting on these covers, and I like them for the covers, but now they're sitting in a box for 7 years, and I have nothing to do with them because they either never went anywhere in value or whatever, and it's a mute point. I always like to make sure when I do a cover buy, I might be able to get my money back and then some to kind of feed back into the hobby.
Oh, yeah, I got to. Yeah. And then to touch on that too, right now there's a little bit of lull with Venom books. Might be the time to pick up some.
Oh, for sure.
You know,
if they don't come out with Venom 36 for quite some time after this next one, I think we could definitely see a lot of these books just have a slight drop, like $20, $30 a piece, and maybe even more depending on the book. And it'd be a lot more affordable to kind of get a full set of Venom.
Yeah.
I don't think you're ever going to get a nice copy of Venom 3 for under $200 though.
Yeah. Dan Eckery mentioned Keanu Reeves as Null. That's not a bad cast.
I thought Keanu Reeves was going to be in the MCU. I thought he was having some talks with them for quite some time. Or am I thinking of someone different?
You know, I heard Craven. I heard, other things like, but Keanu Reeves is a different character. It's like he's got to be in the right role.
Yeah.
He talks. He talks different. He looks different. You know what I mean? It's like he's got to be in the right role. But if you put him in the right role, he'll crush it.
Yeah. For sure.
Crush it.
Danny DeVito as Null would be so funny.
Maybe after Eddie goes.
Only if they did him as a voice actor. That would be perfect. If he was playing him, and it would have to be like a Rocket Raccoon type thing or a Groot kind of
full CGI.
CGI, yeah. But anyways, I mean, I love where Venom went. I thought that the way they killed off Null, I was kind of shocked with. I thought that was just a little too lackluster. And I know that I argued with Mark from Legion of Comics saying I really liked the ending because it kind of was Eddie fighting for his son, fighting to get the darkness away, fighting to come back from the dead and just say, guess what, guys, this is where I'm at and this is what I have. And he used all of his strength with Mjolnir, the Silver Surfer, surfboard, and Captain Universe, the God of Light, on his side. And all of that was able to defeat Null because, I mean, they all in the past were able to defeat him in some way or shape or form. But I think it just, in the end, yes, it did kind of take too short of a time to defeat him. But I mean, it also, you can't drag this on for too long. You don't want another. I mean, there's only 5 issues,
and that's
at the end of the day.
That was one of my complaints with that run. I felt he drugged some things a little bit too far on.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Like Venom Beyond, I thought that I loved it in its time. It was a great story arc. It was really cool to read. I thought Codex was really interesting, but it just, going back, I'm not going to reread it because I know all the little details that kind of made it mysterious and made it cool. The fact that Mac Gargan is this stupid character that's just kind of roided out on technology and muscles is like, okay, whatever. And the fact that Dylan is Codex, I mean, maybe they're alluding towards something, or maybe they were maybe that's when Eddie realized this is what's going to happen to Dylan if I don't take the darkness out of him. I'm not quite sure, but I'm just hoping for something big to happen with this Venom 200 that will kind of bring it back and not make it so blah.
That Garden character actually turned off some Venom readers.
Yeah.
And, because I remember a lot of people complaining, but they were like, really? That's Virus? Like, that's it? Just some dude in a garbage can tech uniform? Like, really? That's Marvel's MO, though. Marvel always does, bring in these little tiny characters, you know what I mean? Little something, and then they're gone. Look at Falcon and Winter Soldier. They brought in that guy Torres, Torres for just 1 or 2 episodes, and the book shot up. Everybody's specking. Oh my God, is Torres going to be the new Captain America? And then boom, he was gone. You don't do that. Yeah. So it's like, that's kind of Marvel's MO, is bring in little characters, you know what I mean? Sometimes they win, sometimes they don't, But
and I mean, I think with the shows, like you're saying with Torres, I think it's, let's drop little seeds here and there. And if Torres really speaks to someone, we can bring him back really quickly. Yeah. If people are just like, you know what, Torres is kind of then we don't move forward with him. He's not actually going to be the new Falcon. He's not going to be whatever. We're here to make Anthony Mackie the new Captain America, but he's got to go through a series of not being the good soldier, being the good person. He's got to go through that in order to truly get on Steve's level. So, I mean, I think that Marvel's doing a good job with that, but
everybody
was that?
Can anybody be on Steve's level though? Because so many people look at Steve as like, oh, what I mean? All American Superboy, you know what I mean? It's like, can do no wrong,
I actually saw a meme not too long ago that was all about John Walker and how when Captain America first sat down with I can't remember his name, the doctor who kind of created him into Captain America. What was it?
Nagel.
Yes. Yep. Nagel. I think it was.
Yeah.
He said it's not about being a good soldier, it's about being a good person. And it had a picture of Steve and it said good person. And then it had a picture of John Walker and it said good soldier. And you can see the difference in the show between the two of what we saw with Steve and then what we're seeing with John. And just, it's very cool to see the two different dynamics of, this is what happens when you give the super soldier serum to one guy. And this is what a good soldier looks like. And look what he might do if he gets, or if he already has, or whatever, with the super soldier serum.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
they did that in
cool.
The show. They pretty much said, if you're an a-hole, you become a bigger a-hole.
Yep.
And that's what happened. What's with whatever happened with Annie Wang in her pregnancy?
Who?
Annie Wang in her presidency? Dylan Eddie's.
I'm not sure.
Because in one of the Venom issues, didn't she relate to Peter Parker, Spider-Man, that she was pregnant?
I don't remember that one. I got into Venom around 19 or 20.
I forget what issue. It's around the issues of chat. If you can help me out here, it's around the issue where they found out who Virus was. It's around that and those.
Okay.
Yeah. They were sitting on a tall building, and she was talking to Spider-Man, and she told him she was pregnant.
Interesting.
That's a big thing, and because after the whole virus thing, that's when I was kind of like, and I didn't read it that religiously, but I remember that she was pregnant. And I was like, okay, this part's interesting. Where's this going to go? What are they going to do with this? So, Chad, if anybody has an answer for that, let me know.
Yeah, or just what came of it.
Yeah.
So anyways, yeah, I'm really hoping the Venom spec continues to go up. I think that it's going to be really cool. And I think that we're only going to get better Venom movies out of it. I know that a lot of people were kind of so with Venom 1. You either loved it or you didn't. I personally loved it. I thought that there was a lot of flaws, but I mean, there had to be flaws because it wasn't a true Venom. It wasn't.
But it was Venom.
Yeah, it was just it was a Venom without Spider-Man, which was interesting and different, but it was like, okay, you need Eddie's real backstory of him kind of getting pissed off and not liking Spider-Man to really kind of get him into this whole idea of Venom. But at the same time, I feel like Sony did it really well. I thought that it was a really great movie. It just missed its mark in the comic book to movie adaptation. But I mean, so did Spider-Man 3 with Venom. So, I mean, if we're going to compare apples to apples, the Venom verse is totally better than Spider-Man 3 ever would have made Venom, because that was just crap.
Now, do you think in No Way Home, the upcoming Spider-Man movie, do you think they're going to have some little Venom Easter eggs?
I'm hoping. I think that would probably be really amazing.
And I can't see why they would not do that. You know what I mean? Yeah. To help, to help promote that other property. It's like they got to, but you never know.
I think everybody's hoping that they will try to get some sort of tie-in in there, just so that it's. I mean, ultimately, that's what you're hoping for, and so it's like, just how long do you have to travel to get there is the only question. Because if they keep it separate, then it's like, how long can you run with this? Like,
yeah, to me, this is the where they need to tie them together. Yeah. This movie,
yeah, but it's the same thing about the books. Like when we're talking about the price of the books going down, it's like you have to keep that fire going. You know what I mean? Like, all right, we're here. King and Black is done. We knew it was going to be 5 issues, and guess what? The 5 issues are done. So you had to have an end there somewhere, and then it's like, all right, we're reaching the end of the run here. So what do we have? That's where it's like. That's why I said it's like you got to get the trailer out there or something just to keep that rolling with it, because it's like you don't want to have that standstill for any amount of time.
Dan Eckery says the pregnancy announcement happened in issue 29. If you know what happened with her pregnancy, or if they did anything with that, or if it was just they just said it in passing, like it's nothing, which I feel it's not nothing.
It means nothing.
I'm pregnant. Okay, no more talk about it.
By the way, I'm pregnant and I don't give a crap. And he's gone.
So this was the issue, and Peter's like, that's the worst joke ever. Wait, you're serious? Afraid so. I'm fine. Who's the lucky guy?
She doesn't say.
I really don't know. That's fine. I mean, I'm a scientist. If you wanted, we could run a test.
Yeah.
No, actually, I don't think I want to know.
Went to a rock concert and, got passed around. You don't know who.
I won't be a single mom. I'm never alone. Don't worry. And that was that.
And she's a badass character in herself.
Yeah.
They could have a spinoff just with her,
Oh, for sure.
Marvel's all about that girl power. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm surprised they didn't jump on this.
Yeah. I mean, one of my favorite books that I picked up recently was those women in those Women's History Month.
Thank you, Dan. Dan's looking it up. Oh yeah.
I mean, these
Chicka bang gang, nice cover.
these covers were fire.
Heyo.
And I mean, I picked them up for my wife. She's a huge fan of Black Cat, and I picked up the Emma Frost one just because. I mean, I love Emma Frost.
What are you getting? We might as well get the set now. You gotta get all of it.
No Way Home. There is talk about, like, you think WandaVision made people's head spin? When I was doing the research for No Way Home, wow, it's like Doctor Strange could show up, Daredevil could show up, something. They're saying possibly Fitzsimmons, one of the guy from Shield. They're saying possibly could show up. It's like Serial could show up. It's like there is so many theories out there. It's like, what?
So there's actually an extra who was on the show, or not on the show, on the set of No Way Home, and said, basically, from what I remember, we were told that we know that Peter is Spider-Man, and they were sitting in the classroom, but he's still he's not locked up. So they're all sitting in the classroom. They all know that he's Spider-Man, but at the same time, they must not have enough evidence on him, or they must not be able to kind of link him to it. And I mean, the death. Basically, what I'm understanding is
the death of Mysterio.
The death of Mysterio, and it's like they're kind of. It seems like what we're gonna see is people second guessing Mysterio, and okay, is he really Peter Parker? Is this just some kind of tease? And just kind of going from there, and then something happening. I mean, the fact that he's in school, and I mean, obviously this is an extra. I'm sure they have a non-disclosure agreement, and this is probably someone who could get in a whole lot of trouble for saying this. But it's like, I mean, why would you lie about that? You know, you were there and you said it. Oh well. And I mean, if you're in class, you're not in jail, that's for sure. And you're definitely not on the run right away. Like, something's got to give, or it could be at the very end.
Is that are they saying that there's talks that in No Way Home, Peter Parker may actually they may charge him with a crime of Mysterio's death?
I think so.
Interesting. I haven't heard that. Wow.
And I mean, just based on the post-credit scene of Peter saying, okay, destroy, or whatever, I can't remember the exact language that he says in the post-credit scene, but basically it's kind of him saying, go ahead and kill him. Like,
right.
And I mean, we all know Mysterio is probably not dead. He's probably setting up the Sinister Six in some way, shape, or form. And I hope and pray that he is. But the other thing that I saw,
the Sinister
what was
Six,
that?
That would be a travesty if Sinister Six didn't come and they did all this work.
For sure.
They're this close. It's like,
so. I mean, you've got Electro and a really crappy Green Goblin, but I would honestly use Lizard from Amazing Spider-Man.
Doc Ock and for sure.
Yep, and Doc Ock and Green Goblin. Willem Dafoe will probably reprise his role, even though he was dead. You never know how the multiverse might work.
Is that a lock though for a Green Goblin to come on? Is that a lock?
I don't think it's a lock, but there's been talks about it. And then, of course, you've got Vulture, Scorpion, Shocker, Prowler is in the MCU because we've met Aaron Davis, and he was talking about the climbers that they were mentioning. I mean, you got the Tinkerer. There's so much that could happen. And Tobey Maguire's Spanish voice actor actually made a video and said, I'm not saying that I was on the set, but I'm definitely not saying that I wasn't reading lines for it.
He was. He was.
So it's like, you've got Tobey Maguire in here. We know that we've seen Andrew Garfield's stunt double. So, I mean, is Doctor Strange going to bring a Spider-Man from a different multiverse? And you're going to see Spider-Man outside the classroom while Peter's sitting right inside the classroom. And people are like, how is Spider-Man going to be into like? He
I
can't
heard-
be Spider-Man. Spider-Man's out there. Like,
I read a good theory that Doctor Strange is going to do some type of flashback or some type of Peter, look at this, and show another dimension, another multiverse, another something, and go, there's other Spider-Men. That's how they're going to do it. And then that's all it's going to be is like a flashback or kind of a peek. And then another movie is going to totally go into that arena.
okay.
You know?
I'm hoping, and this is solely because we know that not so much Marvel, I don't want to put it on them, but we know that Sony has kind of ruined Spider-Man villains. They've had these really amazing villains and just set them up and developed them really poorly.
Yeah.
And I mean, Sony just, I don't think
they have been.
They don't know how to make a comic book movie. Leave it to Marvel. Just give the rights back.
But Steppenwolf and Darkseid in this latest Justice League, badass. DC makes good stuff. But for whatever reason, the Spider-Man villains were.
Yeah, and I mean, Spider-Man villains did come out in a time before comic book movies were really hitting their stride. So, I mean, it is kind of easy to say, well, I mean, and watching the original Spider-Man Raimi universe now and seeing that crappy CGI is just so evident. But I mean, now we have these really awesome villains that both Marvel and DC are putting out. I thought that Mysterio was a phenomenal villain. The way that they developed Thanos, you really actually wanted to be on his side in some ways. Like, it made sense why he was doing what he was doing. But I mean, we need to see Spider-Man have some really good villains. Vulture was an awesome villain, in my opinion.
I like Doc Ock.
Yeah, Doc Ock was good. I just didn't like his story. I thought that if you're going to do Doc Ock, you have to stick more to the comics because it makes sense why he goes insane when everything happens. If that aligns with everything I'm trying to say. I mean, I personally, after I actually watched Spider-Man 2 right after I finishing the Spider-Man video game with Doc Ock being the main villain of that. And like the reasons why he was trying to create that suit. I actually liked the Doc Ock in the video game more than I liked the Doc Ock in the second Spider-Man movie. Simply because it made sense why he was the way he was. He was pissed off at Norman Osborn. He was struggling with his own mortality, and he needed something to get around. And I mean, what more can you do besides create something that will help you and help others and kind of play it as you're trying to save the world, but
along the way
something goes horribly wrong. Yeah. Along the way you go insane. Kind of like Norman Osborn.
Criminal things.
Yeah.
Well, it's only when you start
That's why
talking
I love
to the
Spider-Man
arms.
villains.
What's up, Brandon?
Spider-Man.
I said that it's only
villains are
you only go
amazing.
crazy when you start talking to the arms. What's that? You're right. He does want us dead.
That was actually a nice little touch.
Like, that's what it's like, whispering in his ears. That's what's gonna get you going.
And also with that, what's with Ned Leeds? What do you think Ned Leeds is going to happen with him?
He lost a ton of weight.
Let me tell you something, and that's not easy to do, man. That's not
No.
easy. To go through that, there's got to be something at the end of the rainbow. There's got to be something at the end of the rainbow. So, and a lot of people think he's going to become Norman Osborn.
I'll say I know a lot of folks were talking about that for sure.
But I don't
Goblin.
And that's not something that you just hide in there, or like you have to have an explanation for it. Is what I mean. Like it's like all of a sudden you have a different character, like altogether. You know, like this is a different person. So you have to explain it in the movie somehow, unless it's just completely.
In the
different.
research they said that he snaps in the movie.
Yeah,
they say he snaps. So we'll see. But I don't see him as a Norman Osborn because to me, Norman Osborn is Thunderbolts, is Dark Avengers. You know what I mean? Is the Iron. It's like Ned Leeds is Norman Osborn. No,
I think he's going to be Hobgoblin.
that I could see.
I honestly think that's going to be the next person who kind of is part of the Sinister Six that we end up getting in the MCU.
Say that again?
I think him becoming Hobgoblin is going to be one of the team members of the Sinister Six.
Oh, that would be badass.
And we now know Electro's coming back.
Oh, Electra?
Electro's coming back.
Electro? Oh, Electro. Yeah.
Yeah, Electro.
And he's not blue.
He's not blue.
He won't be blue.
Jamie Foxx did confirm that one.
I'm coming black and I'm not blue.
And then
he did say,
you think Daredevil's going to show up?
Oh, 100%. Who else would you trust?
Really? Wow. I'm not too sure if Daredevil's going to show up. Because there's just so many people.
Oh, yeah.
How long's the movie?
4 hours.
Is it? It's going to have to be a Snyder cut.
You're right. We introduced that many.
All right. Dan says he didn't find anything yet, but his guess is that it could be revealed in issue 35 or left as a cliffhanger.
What's up, Panda?
What is going on, guys? VK, what is going on? Jeremy, how you doing?
How you doing, bud?
Not too bad, man.
So it does say, tell Spidey, let's run it back. Super excited to be part of the new Marvel Spider-Man new installment. Can't wait for y'all to check the new one. And I won't be blue in this one, but 1,000% badass. So
is this Jamie Foxx as Electro?
Yep.
Yeah, which I'm excited about because the way that he was talking about that was that he felt like they did him wrong in that Andrew Garfield movie. So when he comes back for this multiverse, like I hope they bring back some old costume, like the whole big, electrified mask that he had on.
Really?
It's true. I'm telling you, man. I'm all about that. All the yellow and green. I'm all about
yellow
that.
And green suit. With the gloves and everything.
If they don't do it, I'm fine with it too. I'm just glad that Jamie Foxx is getting to redeem himself with that, because I know he really wanted to do that character, and the way they did him in Andrew Garfield one, I just didn't think they did him justice. So
the nice thing with the multiverse is you have endless possibilities to how you can showcase somebody. I mean, literally, it could be any thousands of different character. You know what I mean, like that of that one guy. So
just give me one where he's wearing the green costume with the yellow lightning coming out of his face. Just give me one.
Yeah. That would be so amazing. In all honesty,
Remy and Panda both mentioned the word multiverse when they were just mentioning the movie. Is multiverse part of the title?
Oh, no. I don't know. I know they've already
in the movie, like an aspect of the multiverse or an explanation of the multiverse.
Well, they've already tried bringing in the idea of the multiverse with Mysterio.
Yeah, which was a huge letdown, because that was supposed to be the explanation for him, and they were like, "Oh, remember they had that whole talk about the multiverse opened up all kinds of other possibilities, and this is where that guy came from." And I was like, "This is it." And then it's like they pull the rug out from under you. Well, guess what? We're gonna they could have just left it, leave everything as is, and just have him from. From another dimension, I don't know why you had to go that far to oh no, it was a hoax. Yeah. It's like,
I don't know why they had the Ocean's 11 it. There's no reason to. They could have left it at the multiverse, and that would have been a good explanation for it.
You gave us a reverse
Joss Whedon rewrote it a little bit.
Nobody wanted.
Say what?
We're all into comics, and I'm into comics, and I have a hard time wrapping my mind about the multiverse. Imagine the general public. They're probably going, what the hell are they talking about multiverse? You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't know how they're finally going to go, okay, here's a simple way for everybody to understand multiverse.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to make it into a cohesive thing for kids because, us growing up when we had those, Superman movies with Christopher Reeves and, we had Batman with Michael Keaton, those were all aimed for kids. Now I'm an adult and I've got kids of my own and I know these movies are geared towards them, but, like the good callbacks and stuff like that, that's for us, right? Us comic nerds. But like, how is my son going to take a look at this movie and understand what a multiverse is without me having to explain it and be like, well, okay, let's say there's this. Yeah, exactly.
No,
like,
so
how can I get out of this? Like, how can I give the MCU the power to be the sixth grader or the sixth grade teacher that's supposed to explain the birds and the bees to my kids so this way I don't have to. You know what I mean?
Let's not go down.
You know what? I think it's the opposite. I think if they released a movie and my son's 10, if he asks me questions, I'm gonna say, guess what? They made it for me, not for you. Go watch something else, chump. Go watch some cartoon. Get out of here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, make the movie for me. It's gotta be some late 30 something overweight nerd. I don't give a crap what the kids think. They can go watch something else. My Little Pony's on at 3, and you can enjoy that. This is for daddy.
I'll give you one. Troll Hunter is good. I watch it with my daughter.
My brother-in-law actually asked me about the multiverse, and he goes, so how does this all work? Like, what is going to happen? And I was like, I can't explain it to you. What you need to do.
Let me write it down for you. All right, see, you guys, you literally need to have a white screen and then go, all right, this is where you are right here. Now there's an infinite amount of you all over here.
What I basically
you
told
have
him
to draw
was,
it out to explain it. I don't think you can talk to somebody.
I said, go watch Flash season 2. They explain multiverse so well in that show. It makes so much sense. And that's the only way that I can explain it because they nailed it. I think that
I watched
what was it?
I watched Flash. I'll watch it again.
I mean, honestly, they explained the multiverse in that show so well. And I hate that Ezra Miller jumped into that multiverse for any amount of time because I just cannot stand him as the Flash. But honestly, the multiverse explanation they give was just perfect. It basically multiple Earths all happening at one time, and you can jump in and out. And I mean, and he watched, I sent him a clip of basically Cisco explaining it, and he goes, okay, that makes so much sense. Like, truly. But I'm hoping that this movie is a Spider-Man on the run, pretty much basically how we saw at the end of Civil War, where everyone was kind of on the run from everything, and he kind of learned during that time how to be on the run, and kind of learn from Black Widow and Captain America, just kind of knowing them.
He was with them in Civil War, yeah.
Yeah, because, I mean, the first, what we learned in actually Winter Soldier, that the first rule of being on the run is don't run, walk. So hopefully Black Widow would have passed on some of that knowledge at some point to him, and that someone's on his side to kind of teach him what to do on the run and to kind of lay low and whatnot.
Isn't that Doctor Strange? Isn't that his mentor in this movie?
I'm hoping. And then that we're also going to see Charlie Cox in a very small role as Daredevil, but not as Daredevil, as his lawyer. And then at the end, we might see
waste of a character. Give me Daredevil.
We might see just this overarching idea of the multiverse, and we get kind of glimpses of there's more than one Spider-Man, or Peter Parker's right here while Spider-Man just swings past and everyone sees it. I think that would be the perfect way to do this movie.
And I was thinking that, one of the easiest ways that they could explain the multiverse in that aspect is bringing that Miles Morales that we saw from Into the Spider-Verse, because that, my kids watch that all the time, and they understand that all these characters come from different worlds and they're on this one world together. And then at the end, they have to go back to the respective worlds. So in a sense, they kind of understand what the multiverse is in that aspect, but it's because it was given to them in a cartoonish kind of way, that animated style. Yeah. And so I think it helped keep the retention. But I mean, if you put Miles Morales as a live action going from that cartoon, showing him go into the multiverse, come through on the other side as an actual, like how they used to do it with the Simpsons Treehouse Horrors and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think that would be a perfect way to explain it. So this way, the kids that watched, the Spider-Verse movie can understand it and be like, yeah, I get it. This is how it is. This is what he would look like in my universe or my world,
Yeah.
I just remembered something too. I think this is an angle, where it shows the multiverse. Isn't there going to be 2 Jonah Jamesons? I heard there's going to be 2 Jonah Jamesons.
I know that he reprised his role.
Yeah, there's going to be the Jonah Jameson that's the editor of the Bugle, and then I read that there's going to be a Jonah Jameson that's the he's like what's his name?
Eddie Brock?
No. He's a real person. He had a conspiracy show. He's like a conspiracy theorist television show host. That's
okay.
Rush Limbaugh?
The other conspiracy theory guy. I forget. Oh, man. So Jonah Jameson is going to be the editor of the Bugle, and then there's going to be another Jonah that's going to be, Chad, help me out. There's going to be another Jonah that's going to be like a reporter for conspiracy theories.
Oh, okay.
Spider-Man's this, and Spider-Man's that, Spider-Man's this. So maybe that's how they're going to explain the multiverse, through that Jonah story.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah. So the cover collector says, who framed Roger Rabbit style Spider-Verse animation, then through the portal, Miles comes out live action. And then he also said redemption is indeed needed. Honestly, I feel like Spider-Man 3 is going to be like Ink Master Redemption for a lot of actors. You're going to see a lot of them come back and just kind of hopefully find their way with their Spider-Man.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, we are.
So there's the multiverse right there.
We already know that Miles Morales is in the MCU. They've name dropped him twice now. So he gets name dropped in Daredevil season 1. They say, I was just talking to Morales when they were at a law firm. And then Aaron Davis says, I've got a nephew in the neighborhood that I don't want these guns on the streets. So, I mean, we know that he's here somewhere. Just like they retconned that little kid from Iron Man 2 with the glove as Peter Parker. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what they end up doing. But, I mean, Miles Morales is coming to the MCU, whether we like it or not.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, yeah. The whole young generation. I don't know. What are they, Gen Z or something? The whole millennials. That's who Spider-Man is to them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, that's the thing. He's a big enough character to pull it off.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I'm a kindergarten teacher, and I asked, for Halloween, one of my kids dressed up as Miles Morales, and I said, wow, you're Miles. He goes, who?
I'm Spider-Man.
And I go, Miles Morales. And he goes, I'm Spider-Man. I was like, yeah, Miles Morales, Spider-Man. Like they don't even know that there's another Spider-Man out there. They know Miles as Spider-Man. Yeah.
I feel
like it's amazing.
Dude, you feel old. My name is Adrian. Growing up, I used to hear nothing but, yo, Adrian. Now I don't hear it at all. Nobody knows the Rocky movies. They're like, Rocky? Who's Rocky? I'm just like, oh my God. You know what? Now I kind of understand, like growing up, I should have just like taken that with the badge of honor instead of going, oh, whatever. You know what I mean? Now I kind of miss it because I'm like, these guys don't know who Rocky is.
Are you talking about the old guy that was in the Creed movies? Is that the Rocky you're talking about? Did he own a restaurant in the Creed movies or something? I don't.
Yeah.
You mean he was a boxer? They actually had movies about him?
Oh man, but yeah, I definitely feel old now too because my kids don't recognize Peter Parker. Like my kids, like I'm talking about my kids, they know who Peter Parker is because of me. But the kids inside his class, you're right. You know, dude, like they don't know that it's even Miles Morales. They're like, no, that's the Spider-Man that I know. Right there is that black and red costume right there.
Yeah, and it's a very very interesting to see how a group of people, you know, sit there and they're like, Peter Parker, people, who? And you're
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
And I mean, we're going to get to a point where this is our Captain America, Anthony Mackie. People aren't going to know Steve Rogers. It's going to be the same thing.
good
You know?
point. Good point.
There's going to be new characters that always take up the mantle of different characters. And I mean, that's one of the coolest parts about Falcon Winter Soldier is they keep saying it's a symbol. It's not a person. It's a symbol. And it brings me back to when I used to watch Death Race, where anyone can be Frankenstein as long as they wear the mask. And I mean, that's kind of what it comes down to. Green Lantern's a perfect example of this. Anytime a Green Lantern dies, it finds a new host.
Yeah.
Like,
now, speaking of symbols, what's with this article I was reading today? They're making a big deal about the Statue of Liberty holding up a Captain America shield. That's supposedly in the movie No Way Home.
yes.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure what is so important about it, but apparently someone was walking down the street in Atlanta and they saw that. Like that was where they were shooting and it was still there after the set had left. They must have forgotten it or did it on purpose. I don't know.
Now, how is it? Are they trying to tie it in with Falcon Winter Soldier, or like?
I think it's just an Easter egg. I think it's one of those Easter eggs for Easter egg's sake.
Oh, okay, yeah. Marvel loves them.
Yeah, they do. They really play subtly with those things too.
And they're starting to really mess with us now.
I know.
Yeah, in WandaVision.
Do you remember seeing No Way Home, right? Like with Spider-Man, like then you've come to find out that what's his face? Mysterio was in the background in a lot of those shots. Like you can see him walking around. Like if you rewind that movie, like when he's walking through the streets of Venice or whatever, when the big monster comes up, he's like wearing a Hawaiian shirt, just walking in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder. Do you think Mysterio's going to be back?
Dude, I hope so. I hope so. I dug his character a lot, but I'm a big Mysterio fan though. Just because of his design. I love his fishbowl head. Like I love that design.
And Jake looked good in the suit. He looked good as Mysterio.
Yeah, he did.
He passed as Mysterio.
Yeah.
They did a good job designing him.
Yeah.
For a lot of the other folks that they've done.
After a certain character, and you're like, no, that doesn't go well.
Yeah. So what other speculations are you guys talking about?
Hey, what about, have you heard anything about a SHIELD agent possibly popping up in No Way Home?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I read another
I've not
article.
heard anything about that.
Yeah, it was Fitzsimmons, the husband and wife team of SHIELD, the science. One article is saying that they might possibly pop up.
Oh, that'd be crazy. That'd be a cool tie-in because then that whole universe, which was supposed to be tied in anyways, would make it canon. So anything that happened with Quake, anything that happened with Ghost Rider, the what is his name? Reyes or something like that, Reyes Jr. or something like that.
Robbie Reyes.
Robbie Reyes, yes, Robbie Reyes. That Ghost Rider was awesome in the show.
I like Deathlock too.
Yeah, and then Deathlock. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
that would be really dope. Like how they can tie all that stuff in. That would be really, really cool.
and they have to bring SHIELD into MCU canon. They have to. It's just too big of a franchise of a show.
And the only tie-in that they had was Coulson. That was it. That was the only tie-in that they had between the MCU and the Marvel TV show. So I mean, we have to know that it's connected, but they've never really like cohesively connected it together. So
they got to make up for the lack of Stan cameos.
Did I hear something about Sword, or was that Black Widow? So it's interesting that you bring up Sword, cover collector. We saw it sort of the end of the first Spider-Man movie, or second Spider-Man movie. I wonder if they're going to continue to go on this Sword rant. Like, where is Phil Coulson right now? We know he's still alive. And, I mean, I don't remember the last season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I stopped watching, I want to say season 5 or 6, maybe, whenever they were in space in the future. I couldn't get behind that. It was just weird as all can be. But I honestly hope that they continue to go with Sword. But I mean, we know from WandaVision that they didn't do Sentient World. They did Sentient Weapon. Mm-hmm. So why did they change the name of Sword? And that's a whole thing to go off of. Yeah. In WandaVision, we got a Grim Reaper. We got the Grim Reaper was in one of the intros for episode 2, I think it was. You saw his helmet. We know that there was a ton of references to being awake, which leads us to believe that Nightmare is going to be coming. We thought that Nightmare would be in WandaVision. I'm just curious to see, how is Spider-Man 3 going to push the MCU forward? That's my biggest thing. Yeah. I know Black Widow probably won't. We might get a new Black Widow out of it. We might see Yelena Belova pick up that, but yeah. But I mean, where does Spider-Man go from here? This could be the last time that we see him in the MCU.
That's the $1 million question. That's the bottom line. Is how does this Spider-Man movie take the MCU? That's the question. That is a good thought.
And Spider-Man's been phenomenal in the MCU. The metal arm joke, the quips, every little detail of Tom Holland's Spider-Man has been on point, whether it's Peter Parker or him as Spider-Man. He's nailed it. He's like that perfect 16, 17-year-old version of Spider-Man that we haven't gotten yet.
The only thing I could think of is where it leads to the Spider-Man that makes sense is the Norman Osborn, Dark Avengers, Iron Patriot angle, or the whole Venom Carnage angle.
And see, I think they would go the Venom Carnage route because of Sony. I mean, I know they've got really big ties with Sony and stuff like that. So who knows if they're going to try to build the Sonyverse or if they're actually going to combine it into the MCU and just bring all those Sony characters in and borrow them for a while and, create something with it. That's the only thing that I can see coming out of it.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, it has to be the Venom Carnage angle. That's how this movie propels the MCU agenda, through Venom Carnage angle. It has to be. It has to. It's the most logical.
100%.
You know, because the Falcon and Winter Soldier, they can handle the whole Norman Osborn, Thunderbolts, Dark Avenger angle.
Yeah, well, because isn't Black Widow showing Thunderbolt Ross as a young Thunderbolt Ross? Like that whole thing could propel into the whole Incredible Hulk and Dark Avengers and everything like that. Like I can see that progressing into that story.
Well, it's definitely the whole Thunderbolt, Dark Avenger, Norman Osborn thing is definitely coming. MCU, just how's it going to unfold? You know.
And how are they going to do Norman Osborn if we still have Sony owning the rights?
That's above my pay grade.
Yeah, right.
I don't know how, but it's they're gearing up for it. Every character, every outlying character in the whole Falcon Winter Soldier verse is related to Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like it's got it.
And they've teased Thunderbolt Ross so much. I mean,
he's been in like 5 or 6 MCU movies.
Yeah,
different ones. It's like you're not going to put that much time and have a character show him that much time and not have it come into something, culminate into something.
100%. I mean, why would you want to like piss him off? Like that's pretty much the MCU's MO for Thunderbolt Ross. How much can we piss off this one guy? Like,
yeah, good point. He is pretty much pissed off at somebody in every everything he does. When it was the Avengers. Before that, it was he turned the Abomination. He turned his buddy into Abomination. You know?
Yeah.
He at one point was like, arrest them, and he's like, yep, I'll get right on that. Cover Collector, I can't wait for Carnage either. I think it's going to be an amazing movie. And how could you not have an amazing movie with the actors that they have for Venom and Carnage? My ASM 361 is actually at CGC right now getting graded. I'm not quite sure what it's going to get graded at. I was going to press it. I had nice. And it's a newsie.
I got one right here too.
That's awesome.
Mine is triple time at a 9.6.
That's nice. Who's it signed by?
Randy Emberlin, Mark Bagley, and Michelini.
That's awesome. Bagley's one of my favorites. I gotta say.
Absolutely.
But anyways, so it's sitting at CGC right now. I sent it 3 or 4 weeks ago. And I'm kind of the mindset, just send it and forget it. I sent everything
you'll get
off
it by Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. I sent off my Thor 5. I think it's sitting somewhere back here. Right when I saw that it got up to like $300, $400, $500, I was like, oh, I'm going to sell it and get myself a Thor 5 that's not graded again, so that way I can keep it to read it. And by the time I got it back, it was down to 100. I'm like, keeping that one.
Right?
I love the cover. Honestly, in the time that it was gone and when I got it back, I when I saw it, I truly felt in love with the cover. I was like, this is just amazing. But I mean, it was one of those ones that I was hoping to sell, and I actually sold off my Omega Red 9.8 to I sold it off before it got hot, and just to pay for all the other CGCs that I was sending out. And now, thanks to Comics by the Cover, I have another one sitting in my stash over here somewhere. So it ended up paying off, I guess. I'm just hoping. So the 361 that I sent out, it has the 2 little marks where it got pulled off the press.
Yeah.
And
what do they call those binary tears or whatever?
Yeah, so apparently because it's a printing error, it can still get a 9.6. And I talked to my local comic shop who sends off all my books, and he said, I talked to Mike who does all my pressing, and he's seen worse get better grades. So hopefully it's a 9.6. I'm hoping it's a 9.2 in all honesty. That's all I really care about. I paid 9.2 prices for it. So that's what I'm going to keep it in my collection no matter what. It's not going to be one I ever sell. So whatever it comes back at, as long as it's 9.2 or higher, I'm going to be happy.
Yeah.
Are you guys looking at any particular books that may pop during No Way Home or leading up to No Way Home? Are you guys looking at any?
Not really.
For Whitman?
For No Way Home. Are you looking at any books in particular that may pop?
Yeah, I'm still after that Ultimate Fallout just because I want to get it before it goes up even more. You know, I regrettably had one at a 9.8 and I sold it because I needed new gear and all that. So, you know, I bought a new laptop. You know, I got a couple more slabs. I got like a lot of stuff for it, but I could have gotten way more stuff with it had I sold it now rather than when I did back in December when the prices weren't doing anything. So
Yeah.
I'm curious if Daredevil does show up if some of his books pop.
yeah, that would be interesting, especially that Marvel team up that you have behind you. I can see that one spiking just because it's got Spider-Man and Daredevil right on the cover of it.
Oh yeah, good point. You're right. Yeah, I love this.
I
Yeah.
think Marvel team ups are going to be the books that pop the most because a lot of them are Spider-Man based.
Who else is in here?
And
Oh, Black Widow.
Widow.
you never know.
Might be a book to watch. Wow.
Hey, there was no Black Widow funeral. If
Good
there's
point.
not a funeral, they're not dead. So I mean, I don't see many like books spiking simply because a lot of Spider-Man spec is already at peak. I mean, you've got first appearance of Mysterio that's already huge. First appearance of Green Goblin that's well up there in price. Kraven the Hunter's already well up there in price. Chameleon, I think, came out in ASM 1.
The one where he's ripping with the tattoos.
Yeah.
That issue's scorching.
So, I mean,
But there's always that one book, you know.
yeah,
During WandaVision, it was White Vision. You know what I mean?
that no one saw coming.
It was Joaquin Torres issue. You know, so what that surprise book would be?
I grab all my team ups.
At home. Are those old Marvel team ups?
Yeah, all my old Marvel team ups I've been holding. So
There you go. Legion, I agree with you, man. I love that issue. But it's so why I can get a 9.8 in it. I got like 5 of them, and they're all below 9.8.
Honestly, I think Marvel team ups are going to be the books that pop in the near future because a lot of them are Spider-Man based, and I think Sony's going to loan out Spider-Man to Marvel for team ups, but not solo movies. I think they're going to keep Spider-Man out of the MCU after this, and I think that's why they're okay with the multiverse happening. He can come back whenever they need him, but he can also leave the MCU whenever he wants.
Comments by the cover said ASM 257 may come up if the Ned Leeds stuff comes to fruition. Does anybody know the cover of that? What it looks like?
Yeah, that's 257 is the one with
where
he's ripping up the spider suit.
Yeah,
the one with the tattoos. Yeah,
I like
I
that.
thought that was 238. Is that 257?
now I have to look.
I was trying to find out how much the first appearance of Hobgoblin was, and the 9.8 right now is $3,200. The 9.6 is $900. Like
5 and 9.6. Sports card guys, if you notice, 9.6s now are rising in price.
Yeah.
And sports card guys, they don't have that stigma with 9.6 like us, and they're the ones driving those 9.6 prices. They're buying them up.
Yeah.
So, dude, tomorrow I think I'm gonna pick up a couple 257s and 9.6. Serious. Oh, he said 257 is the one with the Puma on the cover.
Oh yeah. I'm looking at it now. Yeah, and it's got Puma on the cover, and it's got Spidey in the black suit.
And so, but why does he think that one? What's with Ned Leeds in that issue? Is that an appearance of Ned Leeds, or is that a story on Ned Leeds? Mr. Harry Armpits.
You got real Harry Armpits. Covering his shoulders and everything.
Box and grab one. I have that issue.
So hardly any actual. I don't think it's because there's keys.
1 second, guys.
I don't think that team ups are going to be keys. I think that they're going to be just ones that we see kind of go a little bit higher than what we would ever expect them to go. I'm not saying they're going to pop in the sense that they're going to be $100 books. I think that they're going to be up there in price when it
Kinda
comes down to it.
Kind of like how the what ifs started going up too.
Exactly.
Yeah, just because the storylines themselves are just what ifs and stuff like that.
Comics by the Cover said he takes on the Hobgoblin role in that issue. Thank you, Comics by the Cover. I'm going to pick up some of those issues.
Okay. I thought.
Is that the Overstreet price guide?
Yeah, the Marvel
Yeah.
team up the keys.
Nice.
Yeah, looking at the team ups, and I mean, just from what I had here, and then taking a quick glance, there's 6 without Spider-Man.
My wife was calling me. I
Every
can't.
other thing is Spider-Man.
I can't turn off that phone call. What ifs contain countless firsts, though, like Jane is Thor, for example. True, they do, but I mean, the what ifs is just a lot of them never come to fruition. You see them once, and that's it. Like Jane is Thor was big, like that happened, and it took off from there because I mean, everyone's doing women in comics right now because they want to expand their horizons. I don't see any reason why the Marvel team ups won't do something new because I think that they would be really cool. Not keys, but just interesting books to have. And I mean, anything that can tie into a movie like that book that we were just talking about that VK has, anything that can tie into a movie, whether it's through the cover or the comic, is going to go up slightly in price. Not that it's going to like just shoot up to that hundreds of thousands of dollars of just beyond. I mean, I'm not looking for it to go way up. And I mean, I'm never going to really sell my Marvel team ups. I think they're just really cool books. The covers are amazing.
Yeah.
Marvel team up issue number 3 is a third appearance of Morbius. That's a key. And then number 4 is a 4th appearance of Morbius.
Interesting.
And then later on in issues, you got a couple 35-cent variants, which of course, you know, those bring good money.
But I'd love to continue this conversation in the future. We do this every single Friday night at 10 p.m. If you guys ever want to hop on again, you are more than welcome to. And unfortunately, I've got to go. I've got to make sure that
Me too.
Good morning. I've got a photography gig for a wedding tomorrow. So
Nice.
Oh, nice.
That's my other side stuff. But it's been a pleasure talking to you guys. I'd love to continue this spec talk about Marvel team ups and what if. And I mean, I think we just got a what if trailer too recently. So I mean, let's talk about that next week. All the different things they can do with what ifs. Is it going to be more than one season, less than just the one season and done? Yeah. So thank you guys. I honestly think they could keep what ifs going for a long time. And I think they'll do a lot with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, chat. Thanks, Legion, Comics by the Cover. Everybody.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure talking. And before I do go, I want to make sure to just remind you of our giveaway at 500 subscribers, giving away these 4 books. And I also mentioned that I'd be doing a Venom 200 giveaway. But in order to do that, I need to hit 500 subs by Wednesday. So if I can do that, this will be the book that I'm giving away. And this book has been rated at well over cover value. It's just a phenomenal cover. And 500 subs by Wednesday, I'm going to just give that book to someone in the live chat on a Wednesday night comic book day haul and a giveaway announcement video. So that will be my little coup de grace, so to speak, to kind of thank you guys for helping get to that huge milestone and well beyond 500. Can't wait.
I'll send out I'll send out some DMs, some promos too. And
Sounds
chat.
good.
Share it, chat. Send it out, chat. Let's get it to 500.
What if Chris was a wedding photographer? I am. I've done a wedding already. This is my
That's just
second
a
wedding.
secret
and
identity.
I'm actually Spider-Man.
Be good, everybody.
Have a good night.
Later, guys.
Take it easy.
Thanks for lounging with us, everyone.